Yes, at some point in our lives, we've all heard certain so-called facts. Things like, if you swallow gum, it'll stick to your intestines, or you shouldn't swim after eating. But how true are they really? Let's find out. When you swallow gum, people often react with, oh no, you're doomed. Your intestines will get blocked. But that's an incredibly common and completely wrong belief. It's true that gum can't be digested, since its main ingredient, gum base, contains polymers. However, that doesn't mean it will clog your digestive system. The inside of our digestive tract, including the intestines, is slippery and coated with mucus, which prevents things from sticking easily. So when you swallow gum, it simply waits inside you until your next trip to the bathroom. That said, don't take this as a green light to swallow an entire pack. The key factor here is mass. Swallowing one piece of gum is harmless, but swallowing several at once, or swallowing gum together with beads or small objects, can indeed cause a blockage, using only 10% of your brain. This one is just nonsense. Back in the 19th century, when science and medicine were far less advanced, some scientists made baseless assumptions that the parts of the brain whose functions were unknown must be unused. As time went on, pop culture helped spread this myth. You probably know that famous, "What if we used 100% of our brain?" movie scene. That's exactly the kind of thing we're talking about. In reality, there's no such thing as an unused area of the brain. Every part has a purpose, and any parts that didn't were eliminated long ago through evolution. What you should understand is that only a small portion of your brain is under conscious control. Your heartbeat, digestion, and practically everything your body does are controlled by your brain automatically. Even as you're reading this right now, your brain is making sure your heart keeps beating. A large part of your brain is devoted to these automatic functions, and the part you consciously control is roughly 5 to 10%. So what would happen if you did use 100% of your brain? You wouldn't become a superhero. You'd die. Silence. I'll lift things with my telepathic powers. All right, you've taken full control, but now you're dead because you forgot to keep your heart beating. Okay, you've remembered that part, but now you can't sleep, since if you fall asleep, you'll stop breathing. That's enough. Let's give control back to the brain. Drinking cold water. Everyone has heard this one. If you drink cold water in winter, you'll get sick. Every adult seems to insist on this to a child. Of course, it's totally unrelated and wrong. Colds and flus are caused by viruses or bacteria, not by cold water. The only effect cold water might have is slightly irritating your throat if you're already feeling cold. But that's temporary. The only way this idea could make some sense is if you're already sick and lower your body temperature even more, making it easier for the virus to spread. But in that case, the water isn't the cause. The virus already entered your body. So no, the water doesn't matter. Falling coins. If you're standing under a tall building and someone drops a coin from the top, could it actually kill you? Number. You might think it gains more and more speed as it falls, but that speed has a limit. Air resistance. A coin can only fall so fast before it reaches its terminal velocity, which is about 40 kilometers per hour, 25 miles per hour. Honestly, someone hitting you on the head would hurt more. Lightning is always fatal. Well, not exactly. You might think getting struck by lightning means instant death, but studies show that around 90% of people struck by lightning actually survive, though some are left with permanent injuries. And yes, you might wonder, what if someone's struck twice? Well, there's a man who was struck 7 times and still lived. People even nicknamed him the human lightning rod and would keep their distance from him on stormy days. Despite being struck 7 times, he carried on with his life just fine. Shaving makes hair grow thicker. Couldn't find a better title, so let's just go with that. This is another extremely common but false belief. Shaving doesn't make hair grow thicker. It only looks that way. When you shave, you blunt the tip of the hair, which makes it feel coarser to the touch. Scientists have studied this for years and found that shaving has no effect on hair growth. The length, thickness, and growth rate of your hair are all determined by your genetics. Swallowing spiders or bugs in your sleep. Technically not impossible, but almost impossible. So much so that it's practically a myth. You've probably seen nonsense online claiming that the average person swallows X number of spiders per year. Totally made up. While the inside of your mouth is warm, it's also very moist and constantly moving, making it an unsuitable environment for insects. Entomologists, bug scientists, say such an event is extremely unlikely. Plus, we move around a lot while sleeping, often without realizing it, which makes it even less likely for a bug to crawl into your mouth. In short, you have nothing to worry about, except maybe the thought of one crawling on you. Goldfish memory. You've probably heard someone say, "He's got a memory like a goldfish," meaning a short attention span. That phrase has led many people to believe that fish are dumb creatures, but they're actually much smarter than we think. Take goldfish, for example. They can recognize your face. Studies show that goldfish can retain memories for up to 5 months. They can remember feeding times, colors, and even sounds. You can even train them to perform certain actions. In the end, whatever information you come across, no matter where it's from, don't just take it as truth. Do your own research and learn what's actually correct. Learning is important. Don't forget that.